This Lily for Xicana Boxing. We're here with strength and conditioning coach Andy Aguilar. Okay. Andy is the coach for Jaime Munguia, and Leo Santa Cruz. You also have Jose Cepeda with you, right? So right now, strength and conditioning is not something that is very common in the boxing game, even though there's like a bunch of world champions. Very few of them seem to have a regular strength and conditioning routine. How do you think your craft is revolutionizing the game for boxing? And what difference does it make, do you think?
Well, that's an interesting topic because we kind of see the whole sports world, like NFL, Major League Baseball, even for MMA, they've kind of evolved in the whole strength and conditioning component to really focus on performance training. While we're seeing here in the boxing world, it's still a bit more within the Stone Age, I would say. Not to say that running miles and hitting the bag and hitting mitts is not an essential. It is definitely an essential component of strength and conditioning. But as I said, strength and conditioning really involved in points where now there's actual tools out there that we can measure fatigue in an athlete. We can actually see on certain days if they are extremely fatigued, what we should be adjusting just to make sure that they are getting the most out of their training day, not pushing themselves over their limit to where they can't even perform the next day. Because that's the most major thing I see within the boxing world. A lot of head coaches, they fear the fact that their athletes are just going to get too overtrained where they can't spar the next day. They can't perform the game plan or techniques that are planned for the next day. And as a performance coach or strength and conditioning coach like myself, we are designated the duty to make sure that they are improving every single day, but making sure that they're not so fatigued that it hinders the whole strategy in a whole within their camp for their head coach to implement certain strategies, certain sparring routines. We don't want to hinder that process either. And we have these tools available, along with also the coachability, our own ability to communicate with them, just to make sure that they are always at their highest potential every single day when they meet with us, and within the next day, they have that potential ability to continue to be trainable.
It's interesting that you say that because we hear that all over and over again in the boxing world, that a trainer or a fighter will say after as what people think is an excuse, I overtrained. Mm-hmm. And you hear that all the time in the boxing community, like that a fighter overtrained. And we think, oh, they're lying. But now that you mention it, it kind of makes sense. Now,